Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Combat Craig, and today I wanted to talk about things to consider after your VA claim gets denied. I've been seeing a few questions like this or comments, and I figured I would thoroughly answer this one and let you know what my thoughts are when you ask a question like this and why you're probably not getting the answer that you might be looking for. So let me hop over to the screen share thing here. Where is it? Okay. So things to consider after your VA claim gets denied. So this is the question right here, and this is the question that I get probably every 3 days. It's something like this. So a comment will end up and it'll say, I just got denied my HLR OSA secondary to PTSD. So like something of this nature will come in, and I just want to kind of just do a little brain dump and then really go into the weeds a little bit on my thoughts here. So I actually do think I know what this means. I don't know anything about it, but I have an idea. So anyway, so I don't know if this is a question, like if you're looking for advice. I just got denied my HLR OSA secondary to PTSD. Is this like a statement? Are you just saying, "Hey, this happened"? My response would be, "Okay." If it's, hey, Combat Craig, this is a question I need help. My answer would still be okay. I mean, I have nothing to go on, right? So, what I think I do know, but I don't know this to be fact, is it looks like you filed a claim at some point for obstructive sleep apnea, secondary to PTSD, and then your claim was denied. So I'm guessing this is somewhere within the time frame parameters and your claim's still alive. I'm just going to assume that. Then you filed a higher level review and that also got denied. So this probably has been going down for you for the past 6 months or maybe a year or something like that. So that's about all I can do. Like I don't have any info. And if this is a question, nobody can answer this question. And if you get an actual answer to this question, delete it. It's total. It's just crap. It's misleading information because you're not providing any factual data for anybody to go off of. Nobody can make an opinion based on this statement, whether it's a statement or a question. So let me go on and elaborate. And first, I'd like to start off by saying, just nobody can answer it. So if you see an okay or some rockets or thumbs up, that's about all I can do because I can't answer it. There's so much more I would need to know if I was going to weigh in. And so that's the first part. So do not, this is a legal procedure and you're deep into it now. Now you filed a legal claim. You used legal medical evidence of some sort, even if you didn't do anything and you're just hoping the VA was going to do it all. You're still engaged in a legal deal. Then you went to the next step and you're in the higher level review part, more legal stuff. So this is a legal thing. Your name is on here. Your address is on these documents. Your social security number is plastered all over the place. Do not go providing more detail by posting screenshots and emailing them to people that you've never met before over the internet. I don't care if it's me, somebody you think is helpful. I don't care who it is, just don't do it. It's 2021. You didn't even do this stuff in 1998. Don't do it now. It's stupid. Don't use your real name on the internet. Don't use a real Facebook account. Don't use a real YouTube account. Definitely don't put your information out there. It's dangerous doing that. So with that in mind, um, there's more info, and I'm basically saying, don't send it to me because I'm not the guy. You're in a legal battle. I don't want to just hop into your legal battle and give you my 2 cents and then exit your legal battle. That's not like, you need a lawyer to like take this claim on, or somebody, an accredited agent that knows what the hell they're going to talk about, and they're actually going to do their due diligence and research this and actually give you a real answer to your question if it is a question. If it's just a statement or a comment, I don't, whatever, okay, would be my answer, right? So, um, let's go into that. So don't send me the info, and don't just send this to other veterans. There's a lot of people that are helpful, but I don't care how cool or trustworthy somebody seems like they are. You have no clue who I am, what my criminal record's like, what kind of weird stalker I am. I'm telling you, I'm like literally mental health crazy. I don't have any of that other stuff, but you just don't know. So that's why. So um, you challenge this in a higher level review. Um, you did the two actions, right? You filed the claim, got denied, and then you went back at them, which is your right. You went back at them and you filed a higher level review. You got two decision letters on this. So which part of 38 CFR 38 Part 4 did they quote? Because when they say you were denied for lack of service connection, lack of nexus, it's one of those two things, most likely. Could be something in your claims file where you're just a lying piece of shit and you've been lying to them for 20 years. You've never read your claims file and they have you down as a malingerer and they're going to deny you for everything until you drop dead, but you don't know how they view you. Get your claims file. Do a FOIA request and get your claims file. So they're going to quote the law that they use to adjudicate your claim. So did you read that? Do you understand what that means? Do you even know what you're doing? I certainly have no clue what you're doing. I hope you know what you're doing. This is your claim, right? You got to live with the outcome of this thing. So from here on out, it gets more legal. The higher level review, there's 3 routes you can go when you get denied. You can do a higher level review, and that is essentially taking the exact claim that you assembled, whether you assembled it with the help of a doctor, nexus letters, and actually proved it, or you thought, you know what, I'm a special snowflake veteran, and the VA says they're going to take care of me. Pro tip, don't do that. They don't take care of you. They want you to die, and they want you to quit. And this is the way they're going to do it. They're going to deny your ass and frustrate you, and you're going to quit and then eventually die. So they're going to get their way. Don't let them win. And I lost my point. Got on my little tangent. So anyway, yeah. So higher level review. They're basically looking at the exact claim that you built with whoever you built it with, yourself or the VA. God, that's scary. And then it's going to go to a decision review officer. I think they sit in Washington, D.C., and this is what they do. It's higher level reviews. It's part of the new Modernization Act or AMA or whatever it's called. I don't have that off the top of my head. It started going into effect in February 2019, so it's new. It's not legacy. So you do higher level review, supplemental claim, or you can go to the BVA, and there's some more options under that tier. So you're already 2 steps deep into this thing. And if you don't know exactly what you're doing now, I would say quit while you're ahead. Quit and like stop everything that you're doing. You're not winning. You're not putting the system on trial. You're not being sneaky. You're not being clever. You're being a dumb shit. You have no clue what you're doing, most likely, and you're just spinning around on the VA hamster wheel, and you're literally just blindly spinning your wheels. If you don't know what evidence was used to adjudicate your claim, and you don't even know what evidence you submitted because you had some VSO just do shit for you and throw things up against the wall, if you quit right now, you could quit right now and then save yourself any additional time and frustration because you just quit. You just let this thing die on the vine right here and then educate yourself. That's one way you could do it. If you just keep going through the court process, you might drag this thing out for another 3 years. And it's like, you don't have a nexus. Like, I don't care if you have Robert Shapiro in here helping you. No nexus, no win the claim. This is all, just gets to be more medical evidence and more legal. I know it doesn't feel very legal right now. I can assure you 100% you are 2 steps deep into a seriously legal process. So, kind of going back through, I was just kind of rambling around. So my suggestion is if you're going to ask this type of a question, I would ask an accredited claims agent. They will be able to access your claims file, parts of it. Usually, some are better than others. I'll go into that a little bit, but they can go in there and look for things like, yeah, we think the guy's lying all the time. He's a malingerer. They can go in and search for things like that. They could go in and look at the C&P exam. Most likely, you were sent to a C&P exam for when you filed your initial claim for sleep apnea, and they could see what the doctor said. If hopefully you know what he said, because you read your decision letter and you got your claims file and you're already going down this road, but you might not know any of this stuff. So an accredited claims agent, this is what they do. They can access files. They can get into your claims file. They could get into your decision letter. They can actually explain your decision letter to you. Again, some are better than others, but if you don't understand this stuff, at least you can, like, I think I know what this means. And then they could be like, well, this is my opinion. And at least there's two of you, two heads, are probably better than none. A couple other things about the accredited agents, like they're accredited, like the VA allows them to go in and look at all your stuff. So they're the kind of people over the internet that you do want to deal with. Accredited agents. There's laws that govern them, VSOs, attorneys, claims agents, all those types of people. They have certain morality codes, or I don't know what it is. I'm not one. So if you're going to, send your info, your personal info, where you park your head at night, do it to an accredited claims agent, sign a power of attorney, legal, right? I'm not legal. I'm not an accredited agent. I have no problem giving you advice, trying to motivate you, sharing my story, sharing my frustrations, sharing what I did, planting seeds, but this is your claim. Don't send me your information. Don't send me your personal stuff. I don't want to know your first name or your last name. Just your fake username that you use is more than enough. I don't need a full blown, you don't need to know my social security number for us to have a relationship. I could root you on in the comments and the videos and these live chats, and we don't need to give each other that much information. So keep that in mind. Be careful who you sign up with and who you give your information to. So let's see. So yeah, just this last part is, accredited agents. They're not all created equal. Some are way smarter than others. And the other part is there's no accountability. That's the part that kind of sucks. And I guess that's kind of what I'm doing to a degree, but I am not getting hands-on saying, hey, come back, Craig has got your claim, because I don't work on claims. I have never worked on a veteran's claim and taken on a veteran as a client. It's illegal for me to do that. That's the main reason I don't do it. And I'm not really familiar with that area of VA law or HIPAA law, where you're sending medical documents and stuff. So it's easier for me to just stay away from that and just keep you going. You do all that stuff. So you will sign over a power of attorney, and these guys can act on your behalf. They get paid. This is another thing we were talking about, pay to play the other night. Everybody gets paid from helping veterans. It's 100% pay to play. It's a rigged, crooked system. If you don't think it is, wake up, because you're living in a fantasy land. So bad advice runs rampant with these claims agents. They're morally right, but they're idiots too. A lot of them. I've had 3 of these idiots helping me, accredited VSOs helping me over the past 27 years. All 3 of them were losers. And prior to my filing my last claim, I'm like, no more losers. I fired the VSO and AMVETS that was on there. And I said, I am going to handle all aspects of my claim myself. I'm going to learn the law. If it takes me 72 hours to chase down one word and understand it, because I got to go ask my mom, my brother, 5 veteran friends, 2 super smart guys, a couple smart girls, go search around for a lawyer, and it takes that long for me to understand what a legal term means, perfect. Now I'm on to the next word, the word right after that. What's prostrate mean? Let me get a thorough understanding of that. So not everybody wants to do it. I don't get why you wouldn't want to do it. There's a lot of money on the line here. So that's kind of what I did, was I just fired all these guys because they get paid either way. and there's nothing you could do. They will sit here and give you shitty advice, and they will walk away from you. And in 2 years from now, they won't know who you are. They probably won't even know who you are after about 6 months. But it doesn't matter to them if they win or lose. I'm sure it'd be nicer, but it's like, lost one, no biggie. I don't want you to do that. And that's why I think you should be involved in every aspect of your own claim. So what does that mean? This is my whole point here. And my rant part was the top part. So let's go into specifics. So we've established that, we'll just reestablish. And if you're just rolling on here new, this is called things to consider after your VA claim gets denied. This question was posed to me. I just got denied my HLR OSA secondary to PTSD. And I was just kind of bringing you guys up to speed. I was wondering if this is a comment or some kind of statement. It was a comment on the YouTube channel. So is it a statement or was it a question? And my answer either way is okay, because I don't know anything. The reason I don't know anything, I just went through the rant. So now I got you on board going, you should give a shit about your own claim. Perfect. Why should you give a shit about your own claim? Well, here's the questions that I think you should be asking yourself. So did you provide a diagnosis of sleep apnea when you submitted your claim? You filed a obstructive sleep apnea claim secondary to PTSD. Did you even have a diagnosis, or did you just wing it and just write down sleep apnea? It happens a lot. I wing it quite a few times. I had a VSO that threw a bunch of winging it kind of claims. Sounds stupid because we talk about the importance of a diagnosis, current symptoms, and a nexus. And it's like, without that stuff, it's funny. I talk through that so quickly because I know how important it is, but I need to just pound it into you guys to make sure you understand how important it is. So do you have a diagnosis of sleep apnea? If you do not, you are going to lose, 100% sure. Did you get a sleep study done? Right? That's a good way to get a diagnosis. Was it done at the VA? Was it done on the outside of it? Did you get a CPAP? Did you not have sleep apnea, or was it mild or something? And you, whatever, don't fall into that 50% category and you fall into the 0, 10, or 30. That could be another thing. You might have such a mild case of sleep apnea that it's the service connection part. See, it's a whole different ball of wax. So the most important part of this, most veterans get the diagnosis, they get the sleep study, and they get prescribed a CPAP, and then they fail on the nexus. So I'm just going to think that you have a diagnosis and a sleep study, but I wrote this on here on purpose. Do not assume you have a diagnosis. Go into your records and look. If you do not have a diagnosis, it does not exist. If you're fighting your wet rope shitty claim with no diagnosis, stop. You're going to lose. I'll tell you right now, 100% chance of losing. So did you provide a nexus? That's the key part here. Got the sleep apnea, got the CPAP machine, got the diagnosis. Great, I got sleep apnea. How are you service connecting it? How you are connecting obstructive sleep apnea secondary to PTSD. How? Did you do that yourself, doctor, veteran? If you did, stop. You're not a doctor. You can't do that. Did you get a doctor? Okay. What did they say and how did they say it? Huge difference. This is legal. This isn't like just bullshit legal mumbo jumbo. Like, if you fuck this up and say it wrong, your claim is sunk and it's dead. And I don't care how long and how many years you fight this, it's still a dead claim. I would cut bait, redo it, and redo your nexus and do it right. So did you show that your sleep apnea was proximately caused by or proximately aggravated by just the PTSD? Think about it. PTSD is a mental health condition, right? Sleep apnea is a breathing condition. I have both of them, so I could speak to it, having diagnosis and symptoms of both. As this isn't the whole thing, but basically, mental health isn't going to have a direct cause on a breathing problem. It's a way to create an argument, but PTSD straight to obstructive sleep apnea without very clear and convincing medical evidence from a medical doctor explaining the difference between aggravated by the medications you take for your PTSD, your depression meds, That is actually one of the better ways to go. And I know there's a lot of them, and I know I'm not a doctor, and I know I'm not a lawyer and all that shit. But I do know that medications are a secondary. It says on the thing, on the bottle, you're taking whatever, Wellbutrin, and Wellbutrin causes whatever, breathing problems or sleeping problems, or you can ferret that together with a sleep apnea diagnosis. So you need an intermediate step in there. Just OSA direct to PTSD isn't going to work. You need an intermediate step. That's usually the meds. While you're talking about immediate steps, you should also be addressing the weight gain. If you've gained more than 10 pounds since you got out of the military, guess what? You're already there. You need that same doctor to address the weight gain. Make an argument for it. Yep, my client is a fat ass, but it has nothing to do with it. There's a million ways to argue that, but I'm just saying, you need to address the weight gain because the VA is going to bring it up. So those are my initial thoughts. Do you have the diagnosis? Do you have this current symptoms? And do you have the link between your obstructive sleep apnea and your PTSD? And then how did you get that nexus written? And was everything considered possible that you should be looking at? Did you say caused by, most likely a loser statement, versus proximately aggravated by? Aggravated by is a good way to do it. Caused by is not a good way to do it. I know that it wins and has won in the caused by route, but aggravated by is a stronger argument. So let's go back to your initial denial. Did you get a copy of your claims file? Have you even read the material that is relevant to the decision? You're going to want to see the results of your C&P exam. Did you even know that you can get those? And they don't give them to you, like you have to request them. And if you don't, they don't show up in My Healthy Vet. If they were done by a contractor, which all C&P exams are being done by contractors effective like 3 weeks ago. So no C&P exam results are just going to magically appear in your records. Something might have changed since I did this a year ago or whatever. But outside contractors, it's a different deal. It doesn't matter where this stuff is. You need to get your eyes on it and you need to read it. So did you get the results of the C&P exam and see what that doctor said? Don't you think it would be helpful for him to say, this guy's full of shit. This didn't happen. Fake news. It would be nice to know what you're fighting up against. If you haven't read your C&P exam results for your sleep apnea claim, I'd suggest you go get that stuff and wrap your head around it. And that's a little deeper into it, but did you get and understand your decision letter? Like you got it. Yeah, Combat Craig, you're a dickhead and a loser, denied. Like, did you understand that? Because initially, and this is just kind of on my own experience, but I'm sure this happens to you. You finally go and do your claim and all that, and it's been 6 months, and the virus is running around everywhere. So now it's been 9-10 months, and it's like claim denied. You are like mad as hell, and all you do is see red, and your PTSD is through the roof, and you're ready to go, go attack something and break stuff. So you might not understand your decision letter because you're too pissed off to read it, because it's going to have, you failed to do this. You are a loser. They don't call you loser, but that's essentially what they're doing. So one tip here is read your decision letter and then read it once, maybe twice, but don't try to choke the whole thing down all in one night. Like, walk away from it, try to get some sleep, do whatever you're going to do to unwind or drink or whatever you're going to do. Come back the next day when you're a little fresher. Come back to your decision letter at least 3 times and come at it when your head's in a little different frame of mind. Because the more you look at it, you're going to look past the, hey, you're a loser and denied plastered all over it. And then you're going to start looking at the words and you'll be able to read them because you won't be so pissed. So did you read it? Did you understand it? Do you understand the entire decision from you did this and we did this? And we considered these laws to deny you. CFR this, 3.314, 3.4127. Did you even read that? Do you even know those are the laws? Like, this is a legal deal, people. It may feel non-legal. I'm telling you, this is a legal argument. It doesn't feel it like it because it's a veteran-friendly environment, but it is sure as shit legal as it gets. So they are quoting the laws they use to deny you. Do you understand? There was a duty to assist failure. Your nexus didn't work. Your diagnosis didn't work. You're too fat, too much weight, whatever. There's laws for all this stuff. So if you don't understand all that stuff, you need to. Like I said, after the third or fourth read, you should be at a place where you can at least like start writing the laws down and doing a little research for yourself. Again, Google is your friend for this stuff. Like, oh, how do I Google? Like, google.com and type that shit in there and quit being lazy. Like, nobody cares about this stuff. This is your decision letter. I'm not reading it. I am telling you, do not send me your decision letter. Do not send me your name, where you park your bed at, your body at night, and do not send me your social security number. It's stupid to do that. So you need to understand where all this stuff is at, right? If you don't understand it, that might be a good question. That would actually be a question that somebody in the comments might be able to answer. Hey, my sleep apnea claim got denied. I'm having problems with 3.314. I've read it, 1,500 times, and I can't tell what they're saying. That would be a question that I could go in and Google and be like, well, I think this is what that law means. So maybe somebody else can do that. That actually might be a productive question. But taking the whole thing in there, a sleep apnea denial and an HLR denial with no information, like, who the hell is going to answer that? If anybody gives you any answer, I would laugh at them. It's silly. So legal process, right? That's what we're doing here. You filed a higher level review. What was the circumstances around that? How did you come up with higher level review? Did you have help? Did it sound like something that was cute to do and you had no clue what you were doing? Did you have guidance? Did you have a VSO? Did Uncle Buck tell you to do it? Did Combat Craig tell you higher level review? I've done it for sure. But when I'm saying do a higher level review, that means like you better know what the hell you're doing and do a higher level review and understand what that is and what it means. So you went through the higher level review now. I know that from this statement. So did you talk to the decision review officer? Did he call you? Did you set up that phone call? What happened? What did he say? Did he say it's not going your way, or like what was said? Do you even know? Do you remember? Did you write it down? Did you get those records? So you need to understand exactly what happened on your initial claim denial. All the evidence, it's literally, if you put the words caused by versus aggravated by, dust. I don't care if you have the best sleep apnea doctor in the world. If you do not establish the nexus and make a logical link, it's just going to fail. So you need to know all that stuff. And let's see. What did I write down here? I guess I'm on rant number 2. Then we'll go to some questions. Basically just kind of wrap this up. If you do not understand all these answers to these questions, or you've never even heard this before, or you didn't understand what I was talking about, and this is all new to you right now, just stop now and get the answers. I promise you will thank me in the future. It's going to piss you off now, but you're going to keep going a level deeper into the legal process like a little sheep, and you're going to get slaughtered. Just stop it now and don't slaughter yourself. It's just, you already have PTSD. Trust me, I have PTSD and mental health issues. It's not going to help dragging this out for 2 more years to get the same result. Just stop now and rebuild your claim. So with these personal types of questions where you're sharing your information, your social security number, your address, all that kind of stuff, hire a lawyer or some other kind of accredited agent. to do this. They're legally there. Like nobody is supposed to help you in the preparation, prosecution, or presentation of a VA claim. Like period. Like so that's another reason why I don't do this stuff. Like it's I don't know. I'm sure I could help a veteran, but I'm not really sure how it all works. So I'm totally comfortable talking in community and a mastermind kind of community, and giving advice, but I'm not going to go hands on with your claim and look at your personal info. And there's medical issues and HIPAA compliance. I don't want to deal with all that stuff. I'm safe given this generalized knowledge. So get to the right person that's actually legally able to deal with your claim and look at your info, and you actually can hold them accountable if they leak your info or something like that. Don't give it to me, and don't give it to somebody in the comments. You have some, just kind of also know that a lawyer and an accredited agent, on the flip side of that coin, they are not the end all be all either. These are not the smartest people in the world. Some are better than others. Like 20%, like the other 80% suck, and they're like 95, and they don't know shit, and they don't know how to use a computer. So a lot of but they've been vetted by the VA or however that whole process works. So the bottom line with them is they are getting paid to help you, whether it's free or not. It's probably free unless it's a lawyer. They'll charge you for your back pay, which is fine. But they're getting paid. But I could promise you, in 2 years from now, the guy's probably working 350 veteran clients right now. He just took you on. And he's not even going to know who you are in 2 months, much less 2 years. But guess who's going to be stuck holding the bag with another denial? You and you're not going to be any farther through the process. So again, if you just came in on my rant, the question, I'm just going to wrap up with, this was the question. I don't think it was a question. This was a comment. I just got denied my HLR OSA secondary to PTSD. And I was wondering if this was a statement or if this was a question. And then I've been explaining what you need to do, what you need to know as the veteran, how you need to take charge of your claim, who you should be sending screenshots of your decision letter with your social security number on it to, who you should be sending that to, and who you shouldn't be sending it to. And you should not be sending it to me. Do not email me. Do not text me your personal shit. I delete it. And when I see an attachment, I just delete it. Just give you guys a heads up. I don't even read anything. If it's got an attachment, I don't even want to see it. I don't want to know your first name, your last four. It's not my business. So let's go to some comments here. That was cheerful. Let's see. Where's my thing? I kind of rolled on. I saw this comment, and I was like, I'm just gonna hit the live button. So perfect. Hey, what's up, Ryan? I got your something, voicemail or text. I got your number. What's up, Luke? What's up, Bob? Yep. I make the rules. That's the beauty of this YouTube channel. I know I need to get better about it, but this is something that I had to talk about immediately because it's a growing problem. Asking these questions. What's up, ATX Patriot? This is just, I'm just going to keep going on this over and over and over and over and over again. You need to know who you should be getting to help you, and these are accredited agents. They're the people that should be looking at your medical records and your legal records, and they have to pass background tests and all that kind of stuff. You know nothing about me, nothing about my criminal background, what kind of weird stalker I am. All you know is I'm some crazy guy with combat PTSD and a cowboy hat. That should be enough. But I still get screenshots with, here's my social security number and all my shit, like you know me. Don't do that with anybody, especially me. And I just delete it because I'm not the guy. What up, Jeff? How's it going? Let's Talk Under the Tree podcast. Hello. Yeah, so same thing applies to you, Paul. you did sleep apnea with CPAP, so I'm assuming you got your diagnosis, your sleep study done at the VA. Those are assumptions. If you didn't, you got those are problems there. But you connected it to tinnitus, which is a logical connection. The letter is going to tell you more, and again, same thing. What I was saying. Read the letter once, get angry, and go punch your hole through, punch a wall, and then give the letter a break for the night, and then go back and read it again the next morning, and then like give it some time and like let yourself chill out. It's a denial. You're not going to be happy. Promise you. But figure out what that says, and then if you don't understand what it says, hey, that would be a comment that somebody could actually answer on YouTube, because now I can go in and you're like, hey, I'm having problems. My decision letter says they denied me because of this law, and I could go in and look at the law, and you could tell me like, hey, the second paragraph, I just don't get what this really actually, like, what are they saying? What does this legal mumbo jumbo mean? That I can actually give you my 2 cents on and say, hey, I think it means this. And maybe somebody else can be like, no, Combat Craig, you're a moron. It actually means this. Like, we can have a conversation. You can try to figure out what your denial letter says and how they were quoting the law and that kind of stuff. Best advice for OSA second to PTSD is to submit studies with your claim that support the relationship between OSA and PTSD. And this is right from the horse's mouth, folks. This is exactly what you need to do. And this guy rates claims for a living, whoever ATX Patriot is. I do believe that. So great advice. And this is, and kind of going a little farther, is using those studies and having your medical professional understand these studies that they're going to submit and work that into your nexus somehow as well in the narrative part of it, because you're going to be writing to him, give him the right supporting stuff, and give him the right explanation of how sleep apnea and tinnitus are married together all day long. Okay, right on, Michael. Hi. Do your homework. Medical evidence is key. Yep, I forgot about those. Their lay statements are so insignificant, and that's why I left those out on purpose. If you are missing your diagnosis, your nexus, and your current symptoms, your lay statements aren't going to help at all, like at all. Your personal statement isn't going to help at all. You're weak on the medical evidence part. So I did leave those out, but thanks for dragging that in. This is supposed to be kind of like a beginner conversation. So yes, get your personal statement, your buddy letters, your lay statements. You should be explaining what you think is happening. According to my wife, I kick around a lot and I wake up choking and stuff like that. Like, you could say that, and that might help the rater understand a little bit more about what you think you go through, or what you actually go through, or what you think your symptoms are, or whatever. Yep. Medical evidence, current diagnosis, and nexus, and studies on secondaries. Yep. You're currently 70% P&T. You just got fired at a job cleaning part-time. How much money can you make at a job cleaning part-time? I don't know. Whatever the market will bear, I guess. And I think there's truth to this. I definitely have helped plant this seed for sure. So I'm not going to run away from it. I think they want you to die and lowball you, but I think a lot more of it is we go in and walk into this veteran-friendly environment not having a clue what we're doing. And the VA doesn't point out that we're about ready to make a huge mistake. They just let us make it. So that's another problem. Maybe that's to your point. They let us fail by not telling us, like, hey, dumb shit, get a diagnosis. We're just going to deny you. Like, if you told me that, I'd be like, oh, can I put this thing on hold? Oh, okay. Thank you. So I have bad information. I just put bad info out there. I was under the impression that DROs worked out of one office or something. So thank you very much. Perfect. I love that you know what the hell you're talking about. So yeah, when you're doing a higher level review, they're done by a DRO and their decision review officer, and they're done across the 57 different ROs, regional offices. Secondaries on secondaries will work. Oh, oops. Let's see what this one says. You got denied for plantar fasciitis because VA deemed it wasn't service connected. No, but let me read the rest. Although decision letter states I had the diagnosis from the C&P exam, can you give me tips on supplemental claim? Yes. So the VA didn't deem it wasn't service connected. You didn't prove that it's service connected. That's what's wrong with you. It is the burden of proof is not on the VA to service connect something. It is on you. You have to prove that there's a link to service. So most likely you're going to be like, wow, well, my feet got jacked up 25 years ago. It's logical to me. If you've been out for 25 years, it's going to be harder. It's not undoable, but just know that, it's harder. Is there a secondary way to do it? So that your problem is establishing service connection. And it's also, so the problem establishing plantar fasciitis service connection, how did you attempt to service connect it? Were you trying to do a direct service connection or a secondary? That would be the first thing. Which one did you do? Or one of the others? And then where is your problem? Do you have the diagnosis? Do you have the current symptoms? And do you have a nexus? Did you do the nexus? Did a doctor do the nexus? That's where you're having a problem. One of those three areas. So was it direct or secondary service connection? And is it symptoms, diagnosis, or nexus? You could get a diagnosis from a C&P exam, and it probably says on there, yeah, we acknowledge that you have a disability, or you've been diagnosed with a disability, or something like that. But it's like, what are you saying? You're saying that I have a diagnosis, and I got it from the C&P examiner. You know what the C&P examiner didn't do? He didn't explain how it was service connected. He left the nexus out, so you have no nexus. I guarantee you that's your problem. And not close. If not, I'm close. It's one of those three things, typically. You got your HLR from OSA secondary to PTSD denied. So hopefully you saw this enough, and you can go through what I was just talking about. And if you don't know the answers to all those questions, you need to get with them, because you're going to go up higher into the appeals process. So before you go wasting your time and frustrating yourself, are you sitting in the trunk looking out the back while you got some clown driving your car? You better get up there and find out where the hell he's driving you to, and what his plan is, and understand it, and what law he's doing this based off of, and all that kind of stuff. Read all your laws, read all your information, get your claims file, read what the C&P examiner said, right? Because you got a HLR denied too, right? So you have two denials now, right? Your claim was denied and your HLR was denied. So now you have two denials. You should know everything that was used to come up with those denials. 749 Carp, what's up? What up? Yeah, I would agree with that. And to your point, Luke, I'm not supposed to say your name. Since you're going to have a problem I'm just going to go back to this plantar fasciitis one. So I'm saying that in your plantar fasciitis example here, I'm saying that you have a problem with your nexus. I'm like 95% sure. I'm not looking at your files. Don't send me your files. Not the right guy. I'm just giving you something to think about. So if you have a problem with your nexus, which I guarantee you do, that is where you need to attack them. So file a supplemental claim and go get a doctor to write the nexus for you. A podiatrist will work, a doctor that will work, any medical professional that is qualified to make a credible and competent medical opinion about your feet and how they're service connected will work, and then go the supplemental claim route. You're too far down this with no nexus that a HLR is going to be a waste of your time. And HLR, higher level review, you cannot add in a nexus. They're going to look at the claim you filed. So if you already know that your nexus is weak, then HLR is not for you. You're gonna need to supplement your claim. So yeah, so if your HLR, and this happens too, so if your HLR gets shut down, then you can figure out what you're missing, whatever it is, plantar fasciitis, OSA secondary to PTSD. You're gonna need to supplement your claim because you're weak on medical evidence. I don't know what happened. If you paid somebody to do your medical evidence and they sucked, and you got to pay somebody else, then whatever, that's where you're at. So you could do a supplemental, and then you could go back and do another HLR. Like you could go bounce back and forth, but at some point, it's like, you know what? I need to get out of adjudication manual land and just go to the BVA. Your effective date will be to the date you submitted your intent to file. And as long as they're like, all right, well, claim denied, HLR, I don't know what it is. I think it's like 60 days. You have to hit your dates. There's windows of dates, 60 days to do this, 90 days to do that. You need to know what they are. If you miss those dates, you're going to kill your claim. So as long as you keep your claim alive, that's the term, keep your claim alive. If you keep hitting your appeal dates, you keep your claim alive. When you don't, your claim is dead. Which it might be better off dead. That's something that you're going to have to decide. But cool part is well, that one sucked anyway. I mean, think about it. You got a quicksand foundation that you're building your shitty house on, or your kick-ass $1 million house on quicksand. So now you're ferreting underneath the house and pumping concrete in to supplement the quicksand, to turn it into quicksand concrete. I would just move the house out of the way, scoop all the quicksand out of there, and pour a fucking cement foundation and build your claim on top of that. Because right now you're floating on quicksand, most likely. Yep. And this is it. The VA hamster wheel, the VA merry-go-round. These are real terms, and this is that we use, layman's, right? The HLR and the supplemental stuff is not the end-all be-all. It might not be the best way, and you might want to just quit wasting your time and go to the BVA, because now you are 100% in a legal battle, and there's no more veteran-friendly environment anymore, and they have to do everything by the law. So if if your case will stand up according to the law, just go to the BVA. Yep. Pay to win. I like that. This is way better. Yeah, it's not pay to play. It's pay to win. That's what you're doing. You're playing, but playing's like whatever. It's pay to win. And you are going to pay when you lose, because you're not going to get paid. And you're going to be frustrated. It's going to take a mental toll on you going through this for 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half. And it's just denied, and you're just pissed. And you're seeing red, and you're spitting blood, and you're pissing blood. Like, you just don't know what to do. You're so frustrated. So, yeah, pay to win. Actually, Ryan, there's a VA employee in here that's actually a raider, and he gave some good advice. But as a general rule of thumb, I totally agree. If you're 100%, should you file for SSI, Social Security? I don't know. Are you working? If not, you can get SSDI and 100% P&T. That's legal. There's no pyramiding. Two separate different organizations. So if you can't work, that's what Social Security Disability Insurance basically means. You can't work. But I would do more than using your VA claim to prove your Social Security case. You're not a veteran anymore. I mean, you're a veteran, but you're dealing with the Social Security disability, and there's no civilian benefit of the doubt or any of that stuff. They're just going to hammer you. You can win your claim, your Social Security claim out of the gate. I don't know how many veterans do it with their claim and they just take everything they use for their claim and submit that to Social Security. That seems like a losing strategy. But yes, you absolutely can do it. Just educate yourself enough about Social Security, whether you think you need a lawyer or whatever you need. Different bureaucracy. Just got 100% PTSD. Nice. Right on, man. How long have you been fighting for that? Um, I don't have a outfit that I would recommend, and you already have problems. So right now, you sound to me like somebody that would just irritate the shit out of me. I understand that I'm computer savvy, but I'm not old. I mean, I'm not young. I'm 52. I fly around a computer. I edit video. I program shit. I don't expect everybody to be like me, but it's just my 82-year-old mom flies around her Mac, and I told her to throw her PC away a couple years ago. So she made a platform change from PC to Mac when she was about 78. So yeah, I'm not buying the you're an older veteran and not good at computers and filing paperwork. I would say get good at paperwork, get good at computers. Find somebody you trust, a family member. If you're a loner, I don't know, find somebody. You're going to need to do this hands on to a degree because you're not getting the compensation you deserved. How's that working out for you, older veteran? Like, you're just going to keep not getting paid until you step up and take charge of your claim. Exactly. That was the point that I was just making. Depends on which one you're talking to. But you're right. I think you're basically saying, yeah, there's some merit to that statement. Unknown. A deferral is a deferred claim is just deferred. It's not good or bad. You rolled up with probably too many disabilities, and they adjudicated 4 and they deferred 2. So you rolled up with too many. They were able to come up with a decision for you on 4 of them, but they didn't have enough evidence. That's what it comes down to. It's a legal deal. So they didn't have enough evidence, so they have to defer your claim to a later date till when the evidence comes rolling in. I have no clue. That could be 2 days or 2 years. Typically, I don't know, 6 months, 9 months. There's no typical or average. It's just deferred, and it sucks. I get it. There was no memo. I just popped the live button and just went and let it rip. Cool. So I would look at you do not need to find a VSO or an accredited agent near you. Like, they do not need to be in proximity to you. You can hire any VSO or claims agent in the United States. So maybe that's another thing that I should talk a little bit about. There's this kind of this old school way, like, oh, you just see the VSO. Wrong. That's inaccurate information. That's the wrong way to go. And it just didn't work for me for 27 years. But I also didn't know that you can hire any claims agent anywhere in the country and probably in the world, but for sure in the country. So you do not need to be in the same state as your VSO. Go do your research and go find, like, I don't know what you do. Go find a good VSO. That alone is another mission, to go find one that's good. And by good, I mean good and smart and not overworked. So they're shitty. That's what makes them shitty. They get overworked and they are just, they start off good, but then they get stretched too thin. I don't know how you figure that out. That's why I think you should do your own claim, because I'm not going to get stretched too thin. I got one guy and one claim to worry about, me. That's all I care about. I do not care about your claims. I care about my claim. Selfish, selfish, selfish. Works out so much better that way. Yep, depends on what was deferred. If you have an average, if you have a average date on deferral, like, I literally have no clue. I'm sure things are deferred for hours, days, weeks, months. I doubt it's years, but I'm sure it's happened, and I'm sure it's happened this year. Hi, Sonia. Yep, PTSD effects. Again, this is in the verbiage. If you're going to file a special monthly compensation K loss of use claim for erectile dysfunction, which is essentially what you're doing, it's the medications is a more logical way to make that argument than the PTSD. The PTSD itself is a mental health disorder. It does not affect your creative organ. It does. I mean, it's in your head for sure, but medications, because it says right on the bottle, like this causes erectile dysfunction. Logical link. You don't need to paint a. You need to paint a pretty obvious picture. ATX Patriot was saying, "Hey, if you're going to file a claim, use some supporting medical. Give me something I can look at. Give me some stuff that says sleep apnea is secondary to tinnitus or PTSD or meds or whatever." Good evening. Yep. Obesity is not rated. Um, it is used against you. So before it gets used against you, you need to get out in front of it and weave the narrative one way or another. Again, not a doctor, don't know how to do it myself because I haven't had to do that myself. But you're going to need to get in front of your weight problem and spin some kind of whatever narrative that you could fill in and submit to them. They're probably going to spin their own, but at least you have some kind of explanation. You need to at least acknowledge that there's a weight issue and try to minimize the effects of that weight issue and hope that the VA rater doesn't go back and get hung up on it. Probably not. Yeah, I've had this conversation with Leah before, and she said she was a CMP examiner, and she said one time she had to examine a guy, and it was for deformity reasons, so she actually had to see it. And I'm like, "Do you like people just whip out their dicks?" She's like, "No." Like they're that's not going to happen. They're going to look at your medical evidence and they're going to listen to what you're saying. But be prepared to drop them. You never know. I'm just saying it's most likely not going to happen. What value is a doctor gonna like? Oh, great, yeah. So that thing can't get hard. There's no value of him looking at it, so don't worry about it. Think about it like that. I mean, he's a doctor. He may be paid by the enemy, but he's still going to be somewhat professional. I hope. Retrieving your C&P exam reports through the FOIA officer, either at the VAMC or RO. Absolutely. Yep. And it's so crucial, this part. Know how to read the results and understand them. The understand them is huge. And it's like, read your decision letter. Great. If you don't understand what the words mean, don't even read it. Like, you need to understand it. What is going on? Because that is going to really, I mean, that will inform you of your next move. It tells you, if you don't understand why they denied your claim, you don't know, how are you going to supplement your claim if you don't understand it? That would be something, based on this law. Those are the kinds of questions I can actually help with. I'm not going to give you my legal opinion because I don't have one, but I may be able to say something about some law that I learned that makes sense to you, or something like that, or other veterans that have been dealing with this stuff. We explain these things differently. The C&P exam will tell you what you're missing, and the notes from it will tell you as well. And there's probably most of the information will be in your decision letter, but the C&P exam will have the rest of it. I totally agree with that. No. When you do a FOIA request, and that's what I did. Oh yeah, you're right. So sorry. So they did just change that. So when I requested my C file, it was a different form. I did it a different way, and they made it a claim. But it doesn't, either way, it doesn't affect any claims that you have open. Request it, get it. I made a video about it. Maybe I should make another one. I'm sure it's probably not too easy to find. Let's see. What's up, Billy Bob? Unknown why it's so complicated, but it is. If you're not happy with the way that it's set up, then you need to vote people into office that will actually fix this. Pro tip, no Republican or no Democrat currently anywhere in Congress, close to Congress, running for Congress, that's 8 years old right now, is going to be in Congress in 25 years from now or whatever. Nobody's doing that stuff because we're not holding anybody accountable, because we just let this stuff slide, and we get in, we educate ourselves, and then we do not pass the buck, and we do not explain, we don't do anything for veterans. If you learn something, bring it to the table and do something. Like, I'm glad you won your claim. Now let's figure out how to lobby members of Congress and put pressure on them to make this like this duty to assist stuff. And this is not veteran friendly. I know you think it's veteran friendly because you say it is. As a veteran, it is not veteran friendly. I guarantee it. Maybe I need to be a lobbyist. They'd love me. What's up, Bad Yeti? Yep, this is 100% true from the horse's mouth. With every denial, the VA must provide all applicable laws and relevant favorable findings for each denial. So, what things were found in your favor? You have a condition. What things were not found in your favor? You don't have a nexus based on this law, like the laws are right there. CFR 3.314, like they're written out after the sentence. Thanks, Kyle. You're the best too, man. Yeah, I'm full of solid advice tonight. Yep, exactly. Ask your questions. You guys want to talk to a VA Raider? He's not going to reveal who he is. He's not going to come on here and do a live chat with me or whatever. But he is in live chat, and you got questions. Like do not ask questions that are answerable for him and for me, for anybody for that matter. I don't know how you do it. I guess I would say the same thing, which is kind of the whole motto of this whole thing. Understand what questions you need to ask so you can ask them to the right people at the right time. So it's like, wow, perfect. There's a VA Raider in Combat Craig's live chat. Perfect. I know that this is the question, my burning question. I know what it is. Now's your time to ask it. Hopefully you have it dialed in. Army George, thanks for the super chat, and thanks for the. I got your comment. I don't think I responded to you on my little behind the scenes tour in the member program. Yep. So higher level review found a duty to assist error. I'm sure people in here know what law that is. I don't off the top of my head, but I do know which one it is. I just don't have it in my mind right now. I can look it up. Not going to. Looks like they now need a medical opinion. Does that mean a new CNP exam? I'm about 95% sure that's exactly what that means. If so, they found a duty to assist error. So the higher level review found a duty to assist error. So you filed a claim, got denied, went higher level review. So yeah, that's most likely what's going to happen. It might not, but just prepare for it. That's probably what's going to go down. And good. This is what this whole thing's supposed to be. Your claim got denied and there is a duty to assist error, and that's what higher level reviews, that's specifically exactly what they're due to catch is errors like a duty to assist error, where they should have done something, a little something more, and they just didn't get it done. So, yep, probably another CNP exam, and hopefully your nexus is strong or they're going to blow holes in that. Yeah, this one's pretty good. I should probably put this text in here so you guys can look at all my questions, so you don't have to retype them. I'll throw that in the in a comment and pin it to the top. I'll just put all of my notes in here for this video. You really need to ask yourselves these questions about your claim. Do you have this? Do you have that? And it's fine. You don't need to understand what a nexus is necessarily out of the gate, but the longer that you don't know what these things mean, and the farther you go in and engage with the VA and go into the legal process without knowing what this stuff means, you're just walking into the slaughterhouse. Pull back, educate yourself. It's just so important. You need to know. You're showing up to a gunfight with like your hands. You didn't even know it was a gunfight, or you could show up with a gun. Get the right tools to fight for yourself. And be careful about the people you have hiring doing stuff on your behalf. That's great if you have somebody that knows what they're doing, understand what they're doing, and give your buy-in on what they're doing, and make them explain to you what they're doing. It's probably common. I know I did this. Like, well, I'm dumb. I don't understand. I don't care. Just get it service connected. I don't give a shit. Wrong attitude. I want to know exactly how it's going to be service connected. What is our strategy, VSO? What kind of medical evidence do I need? Well, we're going to just go with a standard claim and hope for the best. That sounds weak. Can we do better? Well, yeah, if you want to go pay $500 and go get an independent medical opinion, thank you for that option. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Do you have any other ideas? Have a conversation and figure out what you could do to strengthen your claim and make your VSO as good as he could be, so he's valuable to you. This sounds like notes and e-benefits. It's just the process. These are not notes to you. Like, this isn't an actionable note. An actionable note is the decision letter. Like, you file your claim, you track it in e-benefits. What's the first thing you get? One of the first things you get, or the only thing that's relevant to your claim, is you get a letter in the mail saying, we got your claim. These things like second signature no longer, an exam no longer needed and all that, those are not letters. Hey, come back, Craig, we determine a signature is not needed. We need you to do this or that. They will write you in writing and tell you what they need. So the rest of it is just noise. Just stay out of e-benefits. It's not going to help you. It's just going to piss you off. Well, what is the second signature? Who knows? I don't know. I'm sure there's an explanation for it, but I'm telling you, it's nothing that you could do. They should just block that stuff out because it doesn't help. Yep, he probably does need a minty. Oh, he's not even in the shot tonight. It's supposed to take 30 days. C&P exams from outside contractors do not hit your records per se. I mean, they do, but they don't hit them in a way where, like, oh, they're just going to be in there. You have to go get them. Most likely, you're not going to be able to see the results from your C&P exam and do anything with the information before you get rated, which is why you need to front load your claim and know what you're doing, what you're filing, why you're doing it, what's logical, what are some scenarios that might play out, what a C&P exam might be like for you, kind of things like what are all the things that might be asked, and front loading it, because if you walked into your C&P exam and you're not feeling very good about it, which is normal, but if you're like, well, I want to know what they wrote, it's too late. They're going to rate you, and you're going to get a decision letter. But yeah, there is a form, and if it was done at a C&P exam at the VA, I think it's like 30 days, but they're doing away with that, is my understanding. 2 to 4 weeks, depends on the contractors. Yeah, I really have no idea what it is. Sleep dentist? A sleep dentist. See, I don't know much about TM. Is that what it is? I think it's different. I know what you're talking about, that jaw thing, right? So, stated that the symptoms is due to OSA. I don't know what your thing means. Great. I could say that. Where's your nexus? Sounds like you have current symptoms. That's good. Sounds like you have a diagnosis, but do you? And then where's your nexus? And if this is a VA doctor talking to you, you're going to need a nexus, and ask him if he'll write you one. If you don't have one, you're weak. You're hanging out there. You're waiting for a loss. Get a nexus. The problem with lay statements is you can submit that yourself, and there's no way to validate it. Yeah. That is the problem. The VA has no way to verify any statement by you or your spouse or buddy may provide. That's why it's like, keep them simple. I'm Robert De Niro. Like, maybe I think I am, truly. Like, I'm so crazy, I actually think I am. Well, that's great. They still have to look at that info, and it probably wouldn't be relevant to anything, but it's like, well, I'm pretty sure Robert De Niro is an actual actor and a guy in Casino, and this isn't it. But your statements are your statements. Keep them simple, and they're just there to supplement your claim. They have probative value, just not much. You're not the doctor. They carry a little weight. Yep. And you put these in here because if you show up with a tie, which you should never show up to, the tie is supposed to go to the veteran. You should always show up with more evidence and tilt the scales in your favor, because you can do that. Like, you could show up with more medical evidence and overwhelm your claim. But if you don't know what you're doing and you show up with less evidence to the party, a personal statement might eke it up to a tie, and you might be able to eke one out. That's a weak way to go about eking out a win. Just go get the win. Yeah, go for illness, go for symptoms, denied. There's presumptive conditions. Do you have any of them? Do you have a diagnosis? Are they MUCMEs, medically unexplained chronic multi-symptom illnesses? Have you ruled out everything? So the only thing that's left is, well, he's a Gulf War veteran that breathed burn pits and all that kind of stuff for the whole time. So, and he's got all these problems with his breathing or whatever you got problems with. It, it's, I don't know. It's a tough claim. They never made a whole lot of sense to me. This kind of rule out concept, I just don't like that. Rule me in for something. Let me go find out something that's wrong with me and get a diagnosis. That seems like a better way to go, but it happens. Go just educate yourself. I'm just telling you, I'm a Gulf War veteran. I have a rating for chronic fatigue syndrome. That might be part of it. I don't know exactly how that worked because I don't understand it. But either understand it or go find something that's a little easier to work with, would be my advice. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. But again, just there's lots of notes going on in e-benefits that have nothing to do with you, and you can't do anything about them. Yeah, I mean, you got lots of the lowest kind of evidence you can. It'd be better if you had four different medical opinions from neurosurgeons and, you know, rheumatologists and high level experts. So you got lay statements. They don't hold a whole lot of weight. I get it. You got them. Good. You spent time there. That's cool. You know what that's like to get the ex-wives and go track down the guys. Now go down and track down some doctors too. Or maybe you already did that, and cool, you're putting as much evidence in there as possible because they will consider all of it. You worked as a yellow shirt on an aircraft carrier. You're getting so you want to do migraines. Yeah, if your tinnitus is causing you migraines or other mental health issues, yeah, migraine secondary to tinnitus. That happens a lot. You need a nexus. You need a diagnosis. You need symptoms. You need a log documenting you need the symptoms. It's where this migraine log comes in. You typically, and the reason why the migraine, like Migraine Buddy or something like that, is typically you are not going and telling, like, you don't get a migraine and then go tell the VA through My Healthy Vet. You should. So that's why they like some kind of log if you keep one. And they will look at it and they will consider it if you have a log. Nope. The rating criteria at the 70% mental health level says deficiencies in most areas, roughly speaking, of your social and work life. And then there's lots of words and 3-word phrases, and suicidal ideation and thought and tendencies or whatever are one of them. You do not need those exact symptoms. You need things that basically are like those examples, but at the end of the day, they mean you have deficiencies in most areas of your work and social life. But you do not need to have suicidal stuff. Do not invent suicidal thoughts if you don't have them. Just tell them what's going on with your. Oh, you're talking about chronic pain syndrome? I think that's still mental health. Yeah, I'm understanding this stuff a little bit more, and this is just it's just perfect. The mix of people we have in here. We have me, we have a VA rater, we have at least one accredited agent in here, and and the information is flowing and it's good. And this is probably the best live chat because of the diversity of the people that actually know what they're talking about. And I am not one of them, other than I'm a layman, pissed off veteran that is just sick of watching guys and girls get dicked around year after year after year, which is why I made this channel. But it's cool that there's people in here that actually know what they're doing. In addition to Tom Marine Vet and whatever the smart guy is, Einstein guy. Um, yep. I could say be careful, and TBI is a different level stuff. And the reason you need to be careful is there's lots of overlapping symptoms, and they call that pyramiding. And that's a good place to start. Understanding what pyramiding means, like go read the law. It's boring as shit. All these laws are really boring, by the way. They're not fun, they're not easy to read, which makes it even more important for you to understand what they actually mean. Ask, what do you think this means? I don't know. And again, these laws are actually, this makes it even kind of funnier too. These laws are actually kind of vague. The symptoms, the rating criteria is kind of vague. The raters use the M21-1 adjudication manual. When you go appeal this at the BVA or at the court, they use CFR 38 Part 4. So there's all these different little things. So these laws are legal laws, but it really comes down to how well you or somebody on your behalf can argue that they applied the law incorrectly or improperly to your claim. But you need to understand it as much as you can, or you're just not going to have a shot. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It's just I think everybody needs to get way more hands-on with their claims, because I'm old and I have too many mental health problems and I'm too busy. Well, then you're not going to get the compensation you deserve. You might get lucky. Why might get lucky? Just get hands-on. Roll your sleeves up and dig into this stuff. Again, I repeat myself on this, but it's tax-free money till like literally the day you drop dead. And why is that important? Because you're going to go up and get the compensation you deserve. I don't think you should lie. I don't think you should stretch the truth or anything like that. Do what you got to do, and get the compensation you deserve. And then once you get it, you're going to have to defend it. You know, if you're 100% permanent and total, you don't have to defend it at all. I still do. I know people that, there's two sides of that thing, but most likely you're going to be at 80 or 90. And as you go through life, you're going to get worse and you're going to file for an increase. You want to make sure you understand that every time you file a new claim, you can get reduced. You need to understand what they're looking for and how to prevent a reduction. It's literally just going and chronicity of symptomatology, I think is what it's called. You need to keep going and complaining about your issues, and they're not getting better. It's just that we don't live in unicorns and rainbows land. PTSD doesn't get better. I don't care what the VA says. So don't go in there and tell them you're better when you're not, when you don't even know. You're not even qualified to say you're better. One happy day is not better. Better is 5 years of actually being better. And you're like a whole different guy or girl in a different life. That's unlike the life that, from when combat PTSD started for the last 20 years. It just doesn't happen. I'm not saying never. It happens, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Thanks. I'm just kind of roaming through these questions. It's been about an hour and 18 minutes. Wow, big crowd tonight. Let's show my live demo mode. We got 100 people watching, 65 thumbs up, 1 thumb down. Not bad. So yeah, this is what I'm looking at. So yeah, if there's a queue, it's easier for me to see this. But yeah, I just kind of come in and I hop in the middle of a conversation. So I just ramble on for a while. But the meat was at the beginning, and that's why I do it like this. Go into these Q&A sessions for a long time, because I know the longer this live stream's turned on, there's a whole nother conversation going on in the chat. And I'm telling you guys, get into the chat. It is money tonight. Go watch the replay. It is good. Yep. Just because you worked on a flight line or on an aircraft does not mean it's automatic. You're in a MOS that's like a high probability. You still need to tell them when your tinnitus started, and you need to make the argument. If you don't make it, it's going to get denied. It's obviously been denied twice. Get help. And Unfortunately, I'm not it. You need, and when I mean get help, help yourself by trying to figure out or figuring out what happened. Now you've filed a claim, got denied. Now you HLR'd it, that got denied. Can you do a supplemental? That would be my next step, just knowing nothing about it. This is kind of the logical thing. Maybe you're over it. You want to just go to the BVA, but you're probably still going to need more. Something is weak. Your nexus isn't there. Your diagnosis isn't there. I mean, it might not be there because it's tinnitus. Your symptoms are probably there. I think most of the time it's the nexus. You're not explaining when it started in a believable way. And you might have changed your story because it's ringing in the ears and it's subjective. So it's how you view it. But if you've changed your story around too much, the VA might be looking at you as a liar, and then you're fighting a whole different battle. Get your claims file, or get somebody that knows how to go in there and search for malingering and stuff. And if you've been changing your story, you're going to need to clean that up. You could be fighting up against that as well. It's impossible to know until you know what you're fighting up against. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of consulting companies that do Nexus letters. There's doctors that do Nexus letters. VA doctors typically don't, but I know a lot of people that do get them. You got to talk to them the right way. Great, I get it. It's a conflict of interest. I don't give a shit. Write me a Nexus letter. Make an argument the right way and get your VA doctor on board. It happens, just not often. Go find some doctor. Google's your friend here. And reviews on the doctor, like whatever. Get into a Facebook group. I just don't have any off the top of my head because I don't want to make referrals and then it sucks. I use VA Claims Insider. It doesn't mean anything. If you go sign up and use them, I have no clue what your experience is going to be like because I don't know how much you're going to care about your claim. I cared deeply about my claim and I knew I had a winner and I was determined to win it. I didn't think I was going to win so much so fast, but I mean, now I'm doing this YouTube channel. Like I've been going, like I knew when I needed to ride the lightning because it's just been bottled up in me for a long time. So now I poured this into a YouTube channel. I'm trying to help you guys out. So who knows? I can't make a recommendation because I have no idea how motivated you are to make this happen. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep. Learn computers. Welcome to it. Again, my mom's 82. I just will not accept I'm too old for computers. If my mom, she's born in 1939. So if you're born after 1939, I don't want to hear it. Plus, I'm not young. I'm 52. I use a smartphone. I edit video. I fly all over the internet. I type. Yeah, I get it. I'm a computer guy, but it's not like I was trained to do it. I have to do it. You have to do computer stuff. You're not going to sit here and research your claim and understand VA law on your phone. Go get a computer and get a decent internet connection and a printer. Get Word documents. I don't know if you need a database or how you need to organize this stuff, but you need to understand your disabilities. And you're going to need, it's not like you're just going to read the law and understand it all. It's going to be in your memory. You're going to need to come back and, I understand this sentence now because I farmed it out and asked three other vets. Now I understand that sentence. So you're going to have to make notes on these laws and interpret them the best way you can. Yep, not all of them do. Just the ones that worked on my claim. And generally speaking, but there are good ones out there. There's good accredited agents. There's good lawyers. There's good people that could help you. But there's lots of bad ones too. So just because you're accredited doesn't mean you're automatically good. Anybody that's waving around degrees and talking about how good they are, I already know they're full of shit. People that are good don't have to oversell how good they are. Yep, doing your own claim. That's the way to do it. You could use a VSO. There's definitely having an accredited agent. They can get into parts of your C file that you can't get, and you're not going to wait for a year. They could get and see your C&P exams from your contractor sooner than you'll get your C file. There's parts where you can strategically use them, but you need to be involved enough to know, like, all right, VSO, your job is to sit on your hands, and I'm going to request 3 things from you. C&P exam results, couple pages from my C file, and I'll let you know when I need you. Sound good, Bob? Perfect. You still awake, Bob? You gonna die on me, Bob? All right, good, good. I like doing and that's personal preference, Ryan. I don't know the context here. I like the video stuff better because I don't like people physically around me. I just don't like people. Definitely don't like them around me. So I'm totally cool. Obviously, I'm in front of a camera all the time. Whatever works for you is what that comes down to. If you're more comfortable in groups, and I get that because now you're with a bunch of guys and you're all in a weird, awkward, broken, uncomfortable situation trying to figure out how to talk about your problems. And there's strength in numbers in groups too. Just for me, I just don't want to be in a group because I don't want to be around anybody. So the video one-on-one just works better for me, but that's because of the way I am. Menthol, Views Vibe. Yep. There's national organizations like AMBETS, DAV, Medal of the Purple Heart, I think that is. And then there's state level VSOs, private representation. Yeah, there's all sorts of levels of accredited. And again, just to kind of go back, if you're going to be given your medical records and your social security number and doing screenshots and all that stuff, I would probably do it with people that are actually qualified legally to handle your info. So just don't send it to people like me or send it to people you don't know. ATX Patriot, I think he's a raider. He talks like one. He told me he is one. I have no clue who he is. I haven't done a check on him perfectly. So it's fine. I'm going to assume that he is. He's going to assume that I am who I say I am. And that's good enough. But when you cross that bridge and you're going to go down and actually give your records and your personal info out, cover your ass. You're giving out your address and where you put your head down at night. I don't know how long it takes. I'm going to say a year. I'm sure it's taking longer now. I get my C file once a year. Like nothing's changed. No new claims been in there. I'm just curious to see if like some new stuff piles in there. Like, hey, dumb VA, what are you doing? Why is Bob Smith's shit in my C file? Get it out. Like, there's funny when you get your C file the first time. I have like 350 Social Security. Like, what in the hell do I have 350 Social Security numbers in my C file for? Why is that not redacted? And more importantly, how many people have my Social Security number when they've requested their C file? Yeah, just security breach. Ask. Maybe you are asking. Is that Camilla's Facebook group, John? I think it is. Yeah, you have a lot. Wait, I know you ask questions a lot, John. You need somebody to get more hands on with you and explain this stuff to you. I get it, but you're not. There's a lot of stuff, and I get it. I've been doing this for a year and a half straight. Not like I'm special snowflake veteran or anything, but it's literally 7 days a week. I'm thinking about videos and how I could talk about something. And I saw that comment. I've seen that comment 7 times now. This needs to be talked about. So how I don't know how to talk about this, so I learn. So I've been doing this longer, and there's a lot of acronyms and just generalized things. Just keep on it and keep trying to learn, John. But you need to get somebody that can kind of clear up a couple things. I think there's a few obstacles that a one-on-one would help. Now I'm actually drinking milk. No White Claws tonight. Good question. I guess you're not going to have your higher level review then. They're going to just go ahead and proceed without your phone call, most likely. So that'll happen. That's another thing about the higher level review. They tell you, hey, what day works? Oh, Tuesday between 8 and 10. Great. Well, you better be available between 8 and 10 for the next 6 months because it's going to come out of the blue, and that's exactly how it comes. And you're going to be in labor and like, oh shit, my higher level review. Where's my paperwork? You need to have that stuff on point. Know your story. You should know your story so well and what your interpretation of the law and your claim inside and out that you could actually have a good intelligent conversation with the DRO. So I would say that if a CNP examiner is asking you to define a flare up, you are walking in for whatever it is. Like right now, I my plantar fasciitis in my left foot is particularly bad. Cold weather, I think, might have flared it up, but my left foot is swollen. I don't have my foot anywhere, but my left foot is swollen. Like I can physically see that it's swollen, and I'm having plantar fasciitis flare up on top of it just hurts all the time, like 8 pain. So it's even worse. Now it's like 12 on a 1 to 10 scale. It just sucks right now. So when he's asking you to define a flare up, he's asking about that. Like, what are your flare ups like? Like, my foot swells up and it's like 10 times worse. And he's trying to get a picture of, what are your flare ups like? Because you're going to walk in there. That's kind of one of the things the CNP examiners do understand. Um, like, okay, I'm going in there. You're in a CNP exam for migraines. You're not having a migraine right now. Well, yeah, I don't have them 7 days a week. I said I get them twice a week. This is just, if I could control them, I'd have them 0 times a week. So that's probably what a flare up means. Yep. And I would prefer that you remain anonymous too. And I'm never going to press you for your info. I love that you're here and you're comfortable saying the things that you're doing. So, yeah, do not ask him. He needs to stay anonymous. Anonymity and anonymity, whatever that word is, there's a degree of that we just have to have. If you have using your real name on YouTube, delete it and go sign up with a different account. Make it at least hard for Google a little bit, even though it's connected to your phone. They know exactly who you are. What's up, new guy, Kurt? I think I just saw you rolling through here in the last day or two, right? Welcome. You filed a secondary for IBS. Do you get a colonoscopy, or what medical evidence did you use for the IBS? The self-reported complaints of constipation and diarrhea are a form of medical evidence. You going to urgent care and explaining that to a doctor and maybe getting a medication for constipation or diarrhea or both. That's like another little bit better form of medical evidence for IBS. The best kind that I'm aware of would be a colonoscopy because that's it. They're like up in your ass looking at the damage that constipation and diarrhea does. But all of those are different levels of medical evidence and understanding. Like, I don't know how much probative value me saying I have constipation and diarrhea is versus a colonoscopy. I just know there's a gap. I don't know how big it is. I don't have it on a 1 to 10 scale. I just know me self-reporting it in a colonoscopy is a big jump. Urgent care, being prescribed meds for constipation or diarrhea or both is somewhere in the middle. Yep, but that's the whole thing because the VA, I rail on the VA constantly because I think it is a big crooked system. But in reality, it's made up of people. A lot of them are veterans, and they're just in this big bog of a machine. And we got one guy in here that is a VA raider, and he's in here trying to help. So it's not like everybody sucks, but it's not. They're not going to change their mindset. We need to change the laws and change the VA. It's never going to change until we change it. It's just the way it is. Boy, I wish I knew something about lobbying. I'm ready to get off of YouTube and take this shit to Washington. fellow cop. This happens, especially if you're going down the pay to play or pay to win road. VA raters are not idiots. They know who these consulting companies are. They know who the crooked doctors are, or the doctors that are getting paid that are independent, but they're not really independent. So you're always taking your chances, and that's why everybody says there's no guarantees. It's stuff like that. So I don't know how you get around it. I'm sure. I don't know if my doctor was on the red flag list. Obviously, he wasn't on there too big. I have no clue. The doctor I used. Yep, and we need to put people in Congress that actually do it. If we don't change Congress and we don't change the way VA thinks, they ain't going to change. They're going backwards, I think. They're ditching DBQs, and I don't know if outsourcing C&P exams is a good or bad move. I just have this feeling the VA is sliding back to the way it was 10 years ago, and I think it's going to get harder and slower. Because DBQs were a great idea. They've been around for 10 years, and then they axed them overnight in the cover of darkness. Why did they do that? That just seems shitty and shifty. Let's see if I can find another question. So your C&P examiner, sleep apnea, she said PTSD does not cause sleep apnea. And I'm going to say that is true. A mental health condition does not cause a breathing condition or a sleeping condition. The medications that you take for it can be a contributing factor and aggravate it. But yeah, I don't know how you followed your OSA secondary to PTSD. If your verbiage wasn't on point, that was the example I was given. If you said caused by versus aggravated by, I'm just giving you things to think about. It's all about how you. It's all about the words. Whoever's making your argument, you are making your argument. You're hiring people to help you make the argument. If you are not making your argument the right way, they're going to shoot it down. Mm-hmm. Yep. There's lies in there. That's why you need to get your claims file. And I don't know that you're going to get. You could try to get these things changed, but more importantly, it's good to know that you need to get things changed and know just how you're being viewed. And there's things working against you. It's good to know if you are working against yourself or if you have a doctor that's working against you and said something that you missed because you didn't know you should go be looking at what they're saying about you. It's good to know, like, oh, wow, they've been looking at me this certain way because I've been changing my story. I'm changing my story because I can't remember it properly. And, you could clear it up by saying, hey, I need to clean up my statements because I'm contradicting myself. It happens, but you need to be able to talk about this stuff, or at least know that there's a conversation going on that you don't know about. I mean, name it. Secondary conditions to somatic symptom disorder. I can't think of a whole lot of them right now. I mean, IBS and GERD can be secondary to somatic symptom disorder. Somatic symptom disorder can be secondary to IBS. I mean, IBS and GERD, acid reflux, hiatal hernia, they are both separate conditions that you can have both of them, and they could be rated, and you could have a 30 and a 30 and a 70 for somatic symptom disorder. The list goes on and on. It's deep. I like, good question, and it's loaded. Go look. Google it. Somatic symptom disorder, secondary conditions, VA. Irritable bowel syndrome, common secondary connections, VA, like terms like that. Yeah, there is an argument to that. We all get brainwashed in basic training. And most of our problems come from actual service, but do not overlook your basic training. It's kind of laughable But think about it. I mean, you did get brainwashed and you got your brain changed. That was stressful. That might have caused some of your mental health stuff. Don't know how good of an argument you're going to make with it, but look at it and see if there's one there, if that's the best you could do. Yep, there it is right there. 38 CFR 4.14, pyramiding of symptomatology. Google that one and understand that one. The pyramiding rule is the hardest or the easiest way you're going to run into problems, especially when you're trying to build a claim for TBI and PTSD or GERD and IBS at the same time. They collide and they have a lot of characteristics and symptoms that will either pyramid or get close to it. And you need to separate them out or you're going to get your stuff combined, or they just don't allow pyramiding. You should know what it is. Yeah, I don't know, but hemorrhoids are hemorrhoids. I don't think it's measured by the size. I think it's measured. I mean, I'm sure that's a factor, but it's more, what else are the hemorrhoids doing to you? How's it affecting your social and work life? I'm thinking. Um, I've had them, and it's part of IBS as well. I get them, but I don't have a rating for them, and I've never had to make that argument. Boom, you made it. Nice. I don't know that to be fact. I'm sure it's documented somewhere. I don't know if it's like a in your my healthy vet thing. If you guys know, I'm assuming you mean the suicide hotline. I don't actually know where those go, but they're stuck to you somewhere. I'm sure they'll be in your claims file. Yeah, yeah, you get obsessed. E-benefits is like crack because you filed your claim. You think it's a good claim. You finally learned after 20 years of filing three, four bad claims. And now you're excited because you actually have medical evidence and a logical claim, and you're not filing 25 things. You're keeping it small and you've got a strategy. And then you go in and then e-benefits and you go look at it 5 times a day. And there's all these notes in there that are not, if they need something, they're going to ask you in writing in your mailbox. And you're going to file your claim and you're going to get a copy of it. Yep, we got your claim. It really doesn't matter. If they need something, they're going to send you a letter. But the next letter or any correspondence you need is going to come to you in writing, and it's your decision letter. Who cares if this one got closed and this one got turned back to this? It's all noise. They should just turn it off. But it's up to you. You got to just turn it off. I guess it's going to be in there. Transparency. We need actual transparency. I'm curious to see what the answer is too, but yeah, aggravated by, proximately aggravated by, proximately caused by. The words matter when you're framing a nexus. Yeah, I need to actually. That's probably a good idea. What's up, Travis? Yeah, every claim is different. Period. Every veteran is different. What worked for me, I'm like 99% sure it's not going to work for you. There's things that are similar, but this is why we were just saying, we have a rater in here saying if you're going to prove a claim supporting medical evidence, everything's different. So, how does this affect you? Where's your nexus? Where's your diagnosis? Where's your symptoms? How long have you had them? Are they current symptoms? And how is this being put together? And then what is your personal statement as well? And give me some case, like show me some stuff for tinnitus and migraines are hooked together. Show me some peer medical report reviews, something credible. Wow, that's a long time. Mine took a while, but not that long. But hey, it's never too late till you die. If you're 81 years old, file a claim, get medical evidence. Same rules apply. You're not special because you're old, but it's never too late. Is my point. Yep, absolutely. And structure your claim is a good way to word it. Exactly. Structure and strategy. So the you at NYS is that New York Division of Veterans Affairs. You pay your taxes, which pay your VSO. He followed up. Yep. That's the way a good accredited agent should be. Again, I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm just saying all the ones I got were bad. And I know that skews it, and I know exactly what I'm saying. I'm just like, you need to be smarter than your VSO, basically. Whether you think you should be or not, you're going to have to live with the claim. You're going to have to defend your rating, and you're going to have to know how to respond if you get a reduction or whatever. If you file a new claim, you need to know you're opening up. If you're 100% P&T and you decide to go for special monthly compensation for your broken dick, the minute you launch that claim, you open up your entire claim, and they will go rooting through there if you don't know how to prove chronicity of symptomatology. If you're not going to the doctor and you're just sitting in Mexico drinking margaritas, you haven't showed up for 5 years, they are going to yank you. The VA reduced a claim in one area in order to keep me at 90. Uh, it feels like that. It could be like that. It definitely feels like that. But there's a reason that they pulled one, and you went in and filed a claim, and they moved one. They approved something and moved you up, and then they moved you backwards at the same time. They moved you backwards for a reason. You might know more, and you may be 100% accurate, but I think they're going to have a reason why they move you backwards, and it's usually you haven't been going to the doctor and reporting your problems. It's not like they make it easy to report them either, but that's what the blue button medical records is. Go type it and get it in there. And if the VA sucks, go use your what is that thing called? Mission Act. You can use that a couple times a year. Get to a doctor somehow or another, even if the VA sucks and your doctor sucks and all that kind of stuff. There's ways to do it. Get an outside doctor and get it in your records. Yeah, a good VSO does all sorts of things. They know exactly what to look for in your claims file. They know exactly where to get what they need to look for. Like, I don't need the results of my C&P exam. If you're a good VSO, you can just tell me what's going on. Is there a problem there for me? Yes, and then he'll print it. But he's not going to print your entire C file. I don't know if it's so much if they want to give it to you or not. If you prove it and that's where you should be rated, then you get it and you just win. When I finally wrapped my head around that concept, that's exactly what happened. Prior to that, I should have been 100 a long time ago, but I didn't prove it, so I lost. No Q claim, no back pay. I'm not even focused on any of that. Waste of time. Yep. You don't go to your C&P exam, you're done. There are exceptions, but generally speaking, just go. Better to go. Not sure. If you filed a claim and then you filed another one 4 months later and then filed another one 7 months later, they're just going to combine them. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. If you have one claim going and you launch other ones in a couple of months after that, they will combine them one claim at a time is kind of the basic rule of thumb, the way I understand it. Tough one. I am an alcoholic still, and I have been diagnosed with episodic alcohol use disorder. So it's actually a mental health disorder, and it's one of my conditions. Um, in my case, the way that I explained it, not knowing what I was doing, I said I drank because I was in pain and I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know I had mental health problems. So it worked in my favor, but it's a slippery slope. I would say I don't know if I got lucky. I said what I said based on what's true. But alcohol is a tough one to go down. You better know what you're doing if you're going to try to use that in your favor. But it does not, I don't get like a higher rating because I have episodic alcohol use disorder. So it's not like something you want to shoot for. You want to shoot for MDD, GAD, PTSD, somatic symptom disorder, or one of the other heavier of the 31 rateable conditions. Yep. Alcohol is not a standalone. It would be combined in. Yeah. And you're not going to that's not going to move the needle. You don't want to focus on episodic alcohol use disorder diagnosis, hoping that's going to get you from 30 to 70. You're late, but you made it. Perfect. migraine secondary to tinnitus. Got denied because they said there was a better persuasive rationale from the C&P examiner who said no. Basically, you provided a DBQ and a nexus letter. How to go about the HLR for it. So this is actually a good one. So you showed up with a DBQ and a nexus letter. If they worded it, and I appreciate you actually, saying that, because I know what you're saying. Better persuasive rationale to me means that they're going with the C&P examiner over your doctor. Why they did that, I don't know. HLR, this is what a HLR is for. I would definitely go with the HLR because you have your medical evidence and your DBQ against the C&P examiner, and the rater determined that the C&P examiner's argument was more persuasive than yours. I think this is what they built HLRs for. It's not going to hurt you to do it, and if you don't win, you might need to do a supplemental, and then another HLR. I'd go after that one with the HLR. Linaclotide. That's my new word of the day. Ever heard of that one? Hello and welcome to the family. Kick your shoes off and make yourself at home. Welcome, Laura Black. The DBQs were removed from the VA's website in March, the public use DBQs. So the VA removed them from the website and they said they're not available anymore. That doesn't mean that you can't use them. I think you should use them because there's nothing they're effective. Like, that's why they were built. They're a quick, easy checklist for you to talk about your symptoms. I mean, not you, your doctor on your behalf, or if you didn't do that, for the C&P examiner to talk about your symptoms, whatever they are. And that still happens. So when you go to your C&P exam, they're still using an internal use DBQ on you. So you should be fighting a DBQ with a DBQ, I think. But yeah, the VA yanked them. They're still on some websites out there and stuff like that. But their official position is, we use these things that work so great. Oh, just kidding, we're taking them back. And oh, by the way, we're going to replace them with nothing. So you guys can be flailing around trying to figure this shit out. So unknown what's going to work. But again, the VA has the power to do. That's a huge, what is that called? A unilateral move, right? They just did it in the secret of night, in the middle of a pandemic. They just did it. And even Congress is like, what the hell are you guys doing? But we don't have the right people in Congress, because obviously they're not fighting very good for us, I don't think. So private DBQs were discontinued due to fraud. You literally can fill it out yourself if you know how to properly fill it out and track down a doctor's name and an MPI number. And that is absolutely fraud. If that's what was happening, and I know it was to a degree, and there was private consulting companies that were doing completely illegal shit with them. I know one was in Puerto Rico. I read that OIG report. I'm familiar with it. I made a video on it, but it's a small sampling, and I get it. And I get that's the way you understand it. And that's also probably the way that it is. There's more to the story than just that, though, but that's the VA's story. So I don't know what I don't know how much fraud actually was happening. That is full blown fraud. Absolutely. Tracking down a doctor's MPI number and pencil whipping it yourself. And I do know that happened, but I don't think it happened a lot. I don't know though. I saw a portion of the report. I know I didn't get all of it. DBQs are not useless. They're medical evidence, especially when a doctor fills one out. I still think that you should use DBQs. You do need a nexus letter with them. And if the VA rater says something like, oh, we don't, our policy is not to accept DBQs anymore, then no need to go to a higher level review. Quit dicking around with the HLRs and the supplementals. Go to the BVA. That adjudication manual that the raters use, that goes out the window. It's all CFR law stuff, and you will win get a lawyer. Yep, it aggravates it, and so do the medications that you take for your PTSD. Lots of things aggravate it. I don't know if I dislike you. I don't know you. But welcome, and I'm glad you subscribed. Yeah, that's it. So that's why you should argue it. So the VA accepts them as evidence, but that doesn't mean they're going to accept them and come up with a rating based on the DBQ. So if they just give your DBQ zero probative value and it was filled out by a private doctor and they 100% accepted the result, the DBQ for the C&P examiner, and they just discounted yours altogether, I would just go fight that and go straight to the BVA. You'll go clean them up all day long. It's going to take a while, but that's where you take that fight. Yep. Yeah. I think that's going to happen for all of us, Sonia. Whatever the oldest group is that's struggling the most, Vietnam veterans are clearly in that group, and it's going to be like that for the next 10 or 20 years. And then Gulf War veterans, and I'm going to be sitting in that group. So it's a cyclical thing, and I think we want to help the veterans that are struggling the most. And I get it, and I know I'm a dickhead about this computer stuff, but it just really doesn't matter if you're comfortable using a computer or not. You need to take charge of your own claim. I don't care if you're on your deathbed, you're going to need to do something. And if that means you need your son or whatever, you're going to need to do something. And you're going to need to be effective before you die if you want to pass anything on to somebody else. I think you can, and I just touched on that. I am not like up to speed on the Mission Act 100%, but look into it. I know you can use it. I don't know if you can use it like for a certain amount of urgent cares or something, but I know you can do at least one. I think it's 3, and you can use them if you need to go around the VA for something. I would look into it. They suck, huh? So you're still on active duty? Hearing aids are they fall under hearing loss once you turn into a veteran. Tinnitus is different. Yeah, they're two different claims. So you're most likely, I don't know how much hearing loss you have, but you're getting hearing aids because you actually have hearing loss. And once they put the hearing aids in and you hear, then you don't have hearing loss anymore. So you're going to probably get a 0% for hearing loss. But since you don't have problems because you can hear, you're going to end up with a 0% for hearing loss. And then tinnitus is separate, and you'll get 10% for tinnitus, most likely, based on what I've seen. Yeah, and these things, like I've never shaken that episodic alcohol use disorder. Good point. Once you get these drug and alcohol things on you, they're just on you. It's good to know how on you they are, if that's even like a thing. It's good to know how they see you, like as a drunk all the time. It's fine. How do you guys see me? It'd be nice to know. SMCS, yep, 1 at 100 and a combination of 60. Yep. And you should be going for SMCS if you're going for 100%, and you'll probably get it. What's happening? Evidence in equipoise. Equipoise or equipoise? I think it's equipoise. The tie should go to the vet. Does it always? Who's determining this tie? The VA. There's some challenges to that, but that is the way it's supposed to work. I don't think it works like that all the time, but you should at least be able to understand if you lost a tie or it wasn't a tie or whatever. That's why you need to understand this stuff. If your C&P examiner canceled your PTSD exam, you need to call the VA and you need to follow up and make sure they know that you did not do a no-show because I don't think it might be different, but at the VA, like the VHA, my shrink canceled on me and they said veteran missed appointment. They just do that kind of shit. So it is not enough to just call the VA and say, hey, I didn't cancel this. I'm not a no show. You need to make sure that you're not a no show. If you got to call them every day for like a year, like you got to do what you got to do. Make sure you are not put down as a no show or you're just going to lose. And I know it's not your fault. And I don't think that happens all the time in C&P exams. I know it happens a lot with VHA stuff because I check my blue button records. It's like, what do you mean? Veteran canceled appointment. This is bullshit. I didn't cancel it. My doctor did. I'll take responsibility for the appointments I didn't show up for, but not for my doctors. And that's it. Get rescheduled. Like, be proactive and be extremely aggressive with your C&P exam. Do not be a no-show. Dig into them. That's where you dig in and get aggro. There's times to fight and dig into them, and this is one of them. C&P exams, only the most important day of your claim's life. Let's see. You guys are talking about SMCS and stuff. Printed by, yep, good thing to do. Print your mental health DBQ because that, whether they accept it or not, doesn't matter. You're going up against the mental health DBQ. It's be helpful for you to know what the rating criteria is, what symptoms you have, where you think you should be, where the doctor thinks you should be. It's not, I mean, you're not the doctor. He's gonna put you where he thinks he could put you because you're the patient. Not even really a patient in a C&P exam, but it's good to have the answers to the test before you go to it. I only know of one HLR word, higher level review. Maybe you're talking about this. You talk about this ACE exam, maybe? That's not a substitute. That's different. Okay, I'm at the bottom here. All right, cool. This is a good one. Kind of going back around to the going back to my little screen share thing here. The way this thing started off tonight ended up being I'm moving this around. Ended up being a really good, productive conversation. Go check this live replay. It's got some stuff you're going to want to check out. But I started off kind of talking about, a comment and a string and a pattern of comments that I'm seeing where people are saying, I got denied my HLR OSA secondary to PTSD. And my question is, my response is okay, because that's all I can respond to. I don't know if you're asking a question or if you're just making a statement. If you're looking for help or whatever, it's still okay because I don't know anything about what that means. Do you even know? Have you gone through and looked at your diagnosis? Like, why do you even know anything about your claim or why you even filed an HLR? So a lot more information needs to come out. But do not send me your private medical records. I'm not a doctor. I'm not accredited. I don't want to see your social security number. Do not send your personal info to people that you don't know on the internet. I am no exception to that rule. And then we went on in the chat and had some really good live chat stuff. So with that, you guys have a good Saturday night, and I will see you in a couple days. Combat Craig, out. Oh, and ATX Patriot, thank you, and Sonia, and all you guys that rock and help. I appreciate the chat was amazing tonight. Best one yet, I think. Okay, bye-bye.